Well, what a game. What a game in South Philadelphia for the Sixers and the Knicks. They fall by 3 in the end, but the third quarter bit them again. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show, live from the Xfinity studio along with Roy. I'm Devon Bree, the president of basketball operations. All of you lively in the chat already. We are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with your basketball team at Bet365. Sign up using the code PHLY365 when you do, and we can have some fun and continue to talk about that as always. And we got a lot to get to. Our segments that we generally talk about here, our branded segments that we get into, we'll talk about those. We'll, of course, effort the guys from the arena, especially with the Sixers leaving tonight to head to Charlotte ahead of the Storm, try to beat the Storm to Charlotte. We have our big takeaway from Xfinity, our Ace Hardware temperature check as well. So much to get into, but as we get going here, to talk about this basketball game, your reactions in the chat, the super chats as well. Let's get to the main thing from this afternoon's basketball game. The third quarter, Roy, bites the Sixers once again. Only 13 points in the third quarter. That's what we're going to talk about, of course, a lot. But when it comes to Sixers-Knicks, Sixers lead 2-1 through the 3 games. One more to play February 11th before the All-Star break. They match up well with this basketball team. But first, let's start with the third quarter, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, let me take you guys behind the scenes a little bit. They don't ask me to do the Bet365 stuff because I want to do like a plus 1,700 parlay. They don't ask me to do these things. But before the show,
you can do that.
Before the show, I was kind of looking through some Bet365, some bets to kind of throw in there, and I saw third quarter Sixers. They were it was like minus half a point. It's like minus 105, right? It's like the win of the third quarter. I'm like, you know what? If they ask me today to throw a leg in the parlay, let me get the Sixers to lose the third quarter because they always lose the third quarter. Because this is just a thing with this team. This afternoon was an embarrassment. They shot 4 for 17 in the third quarter. You're not going to win basketball games if you consistently lose the third quarter. This has been a thing all season. This was literally the worst scoring quarter for this team all season. Something has to give because, again, they come out of halftime all too often not being able to score points in that third quarter.
We still don't have an answer as to why it happens why it continues to happen this way. We don't know. But everybody, I mean, that's where it starts. Yes, we'll get to the officiating. It was going on with them and some of the calls that they had. But the Sixers had an opportunity in this one. The Knicks kept giving them a chance. They were down by double digits. They fight back. They get back into it. I'm yelling at Roy and Bree, make your free throws.
Make your free throws.
They're missing theirs. Make yours. They're giving you an opportunity to stay in this basketball game, but they cannot make the free throws down the stretch. I even said, look, it wasn't even at the end. I was saying it early when Joel missed 2. First, Kelly Oubre. I was selfishly thinking about my Bet365 pick because if you guys tailed it, we had 3 points for Kelly Oubre in the first quarter. It was right there on an and one, and he missed the free throw. So I'm like, make your free throws. Of course, in a close game like this against a rival, a division rival, every point counts. So with that said, the free throws there, Knicks missing theirs, Sixers need to make theirs. But when you only score 13 points, 13 in that frame, we've seen it so many times this season that it can come back and bite you in the butt. As much as they have come back in these games in the fourth quarter to make it, as they are the top crunch time team in the NBA, in the fourth quarter, of course, making it a game with the final 5 minutes.
Right.
If you have a better third quarter, these things wouldn't happen. They couldn't score. They were 4 for 17 in the frame. 2 for 10 of the 4 for 17 behind the three-point line. They turned the ball over 6 times, leading to 9 points for the New York Knicks. Meanwhile, the Knicks shot 54%, 13 for 24. So they're right there. They're plus 9 in made field goals. Right. They're plus 2 on threes because they make 4 to the Sixers 2. No free throws at that point because everything else was dropping all over the place.
Right.
And they had 4 offensive rebounds in that frame. The Sixers did have 2, but second chance points, 7-2. And even though it says 7-2, all of us, all of you watching there in the chat. By the way, hit the like button while you're in there. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell another friend that we are here on the show for the postgame. Knicks fans included. Because, listen, those 7 points right there, you get maybe an opportunity after a miss to go back the other way. Right. Maybe you go on a run now. Maybe you don't allow whatever 19-3 run that New York 19-2 run 19-2, that the Knicks had there in that third quarter. Maybe if you secure the defensive board, you're now going the other way, and that doesn't allow the momentum to shift the way that it does to New York, where it's not as lopsided. So that third quarter, once again, really hurt the Sixers, and they lose that quarter, everybody, after having a 4-point lead at the half, 30-13. Yeah. Also, why it's important, the Sixers were up by 6 at one point there in that fourth quarter, and in that second quarter.
Third quarter?
Well, they were up by 6 in the third too, but up by 6 in the third because I'm pointing that out only because as I go back to my notes to make sure I have it right. The Sixers were up 8 in the second quarter when Paul George misses a fadeaway along the baseline, right? Brunson then makes a layup. So that's a 4-point swing right there. You can go up by a bigger margin right there. Brunson makes a layup. Then George comes back the other way. He feels like he's fouled when Anunoby defends his layup opportunity. Miss. Brunson now comes back the other way, knocks down a 3. That's a 5-point swing. So it's a total of a 9-point swing overall. It's now 48-45. The game isn't lost there. The game wasn't won there. But you could have busted open a little bit more to give yourself some cushion, knowing that you have a 28-point first half from Joel Embiid. You have a decent floor game from Tyrese Maxey at that point, where I believe he was like 11-6 at that stage of the game. And then you go into the third quarter. If you do get punched in the gut in that third quarter, you got a little bit of security there where you can mess around. You can't lose that frame 31-13, but you might have a little bit going there. So I point at the third quarter. Everybody, we'll get to your chats. We see the super chats as well. That third quarter was a disaster once again.
Yeah, let's talk about this third quarter a little bit more because, again, that was what turned the game. You know, we talked about the numbers and things like that. I think the biggest thing in that third quarter, the biggest thing that turned the game for the Knicks, Towns getting his fourth foul with 10:20 left in that third quarter. Sixers were up by 3, 68-65. Mitchell Robinson comes in. He brings them some energy. That first 3 or 4 minutes that he came in that game, like the Sixers were just getting outworked. Like Mitchell Robinson had, I think he had the dunk like right after he came in. That's when I think that was the midst of that 12-0 run that became a 19-3 run. Like that's what swung the game right there. Like Mitchell Robinson coming in, giving the Knicks a bunch of energy in that third quarter. And again, we've seen this time and time again. The Sixers team comes out after halftime and just gets outworked by this other team to the point where, like tonight, like the Knicks were working so hard, like you heard a bunch of "Let's go Knicks" chants in the third quarter. It's like this is a home game. That should never happen.
No,
that shouldn't happen at home.
No, it shouldn't. But we said it. There are going to be a lot of Knicks fans in that building. And they were there. Look. First quarter, it was 34-34 or 36-34, whatever it was. Yeah. That was fun, man.
Nice 10-10 boxing round, you know. Like
going back and forth. Your fans are yelling. Right. Their fans are yelling.
Back to you. Yeah.
You know, let's just make this a game and keep going. And it was an entertaining game, but that third quarter again, man, it got them with that big margin that was there for the Knicks. 30-13 in the third quarter. We just laid out all the numbers, the energy from Mitchell Robinson when he came into the game, and he plays 10 minutes and 24 seconds. He has 6 points, 3 rebounds out there for them, 1 offensive, but he had those offensive rebounds there, and he had the rebounds in general, and I think he had a lob. Kale threw him a lob. That was one.
Right.
He caught the other one off the board, and he dunked that one. And the momentum that they had, plus the 11 points from Jalen Brunson, he was 4 for 10 from the floor, but they were threes. They were daggers because they came in transition. As we talk about the fast break points, it was only 5-4 Knicks, but it felt like it was 15-4.
Yeah.
of how they came within the flow of the game.
Yeah, the Sixers, they have these moments where it takes so much for them to generate some kind of offense. Like sometimes it's like, give the ball to Embiid, everybody get out the way, and hopefully something happens. That didn't happen in the third quarter because he went scoreless. So we saw that with Embiid, we saw that with Maxey, with George. Like they just kind of couldn't get into rhythm in that third quarter. Meanwhile, the Knicks would come back on the other end, as you said, got the daggers from Brunson, got those big rebounds from Mitchell Robinson. And by the end of the third quarter, Sixers got out rebounded 39-21 through three quarters. 14 offensive rebounds through three quarters for the Knicks. Like you're just not going to win basketball games.
39-21 through three?
Through three. You're not going to win basketball games if you give up 14 offensive rebounds in three quarters.
Look at those numbers, man. Just look at those numbers overall from the floor. Now, look, the Sixers shot very well from the field.
Right.
But three-point percentage, 31-34. The assists pretty even. Free throws, Sixers better than the Knicks, where they shot 55.6%. Sixers coughed the ball up 14-11, where the Knicks won that battle there of creating some opportunities in transition in the open floor off of the Sixers' misses. But you cannot, through three quarters, to your point, have a 39-21 advantage right there, where the second chance points are 19-2. 19-2 on second chance points in favor of the New York Knicks. So not good. Not good when you lose, especially by just 3 points.
Right. 19-2 through that, and then through the game, 26-4. It's really hard to win in the NBA when you give teams other chances. It's just like with you in the free throws. You miss through free throws, you let teams hang around. Both of these teams hung around in this game because everybody missed free throws. Like there's chicken nuggets everywhere in this city because everybody missed free throws. You can't let teams hang around. Again, we saw on the football team with the Eagles. Again, you let teams hang around. Good teams, like these teams are good. These guys get paid. You let teams hang around, they're going to come back and they're going to bite you every single time.
And here's the other part. When you have that happen, 41-39, right? That's the field goals. So that's just 2 field goals that separate the Sixers. Mm-hmm. Now, the Knicks did have a +6 margin and made threes, 15-9 on their 44 attempts to the 29. On the Sixers side, 41 for 93 to the Sixers 39-77. Here we go again.
93-77.
93-77.
A little bit of a disconnect there.
So while your field goals percentage is higher, it's because you shot.
And you took a lot. Jeez.
You shot less.
Yeah.
You shot 14 less than the New York Knicks. Yeah. So they gave themselves those extra opportunities, and at the end, it was 26-4 second chance points in favor of New York. They were 10 for 17, where the Sixers were 2 for 6. And there were multiple possessions after one offensive rebound that turned into two offensive rebounds or 3 offensive rebounds on one possession, and then they got them at the end. Even when they came back, and they're just throwing blows at the end, right?
Right.
Sixers get a bucket, Knicks get a bucket, Sixers get a bucket. They get a stop on the Knicks. They come back. It's a game. They're down 2. They made it a 2-point game there at the end. Back-to-back buckets from OG Anunoby and Landry Shamet, where Anunoby gets a dunk and Landry Shamet gets a 3. And right there, it looked like it was ball game. Sixers gave themselves a chance. Tyrese Maxey with another basket. We'll get to Maxey's last heave where he thought he was fouled and he threw the ball up with 5 seconds left, which was a total error by him.
That was a terrible decision.
Total error by him. Just because Landry Shamet grabbed him, they're going to call that one on the floor. Anyway, you're only getting free throws. But it was we'll get to that as it goes, because that was a really, really bad possession by Tyrese Maxey there in the end. But those second opportunities off of a miss and then transition buckets, as we talk about, it was 16-10 in favor of the Sixers. But once again, it seemed like so much more as you watched the game and saw the whole thing fall apart there for them in the end.
Can we take, and I see some people in the chat saying this, can we take a little bit of solace in the fact that, again, got destroyed on the boards, got destroyed second chance points, had 17 chances to win this game at the end and just didn't come through. Can we take a little bit of solace in the fact that despite all that, again, they had the ball in their hands, down 3, with 5 seconds to go, and still had a chance to tie this game up? Can you take solace in the fact that, despite everything that happened, the Sixers showed that they're at least as good, if not better, than the Knicks? Can you take some
That's
of that
where
out
we
of it?
put in the main thing, that the Sixers have shown that they can play with the New York Knicks, clearly. Through 3 games, They won the first two.
Right.
They win this one. They have shown that, while, look, the Knicks are considered championship contenders. The Sixers are not. Yes, the Knicks are definitely struggling over their last couple of weeks here. But the Sixers, if there is a matchup in the postseason against the New York Knicks, the 7-game series that it would be, you can look at this one right now and say, yeah, the Sixers can win that matchup,
right,
especially if Embiid is playing at the level that he is right now.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. I think, again, like, no such thing as a good loss. But again, you look around the landscape of the Eastern Conference. I mean, there's not that many teams that scare me in terms of a 7-game matchup. Obviously, you can talk about Detroit. Boston's probably in that mix. But outside of that, again, anybody else in this Eastern Conference, again, the Sixers match up pretty well against. And again, the Sixers up 2-1 still in this season series against the Knicks. And like you said, you have another one, the fourth and final game come up in a couple of weeks.
Yep. All right, so that's it. That's the main thing. We're going to take our first break here on the show. When we come back, we have to get into some other things here on the show. We got to have the big takeaway from this one, and we'll also get to the Ace Hardware temperature check a little bit later. Sixers fall by 3. Close game, entertaining one. Sixers had their chances, man. They should have won that basketball game. I'm mad at the free throws that they missed. Knicks miss way more. Sixers, though, Joel doesn't miss his free throws often. Kelly Oubre has been in a really good groove. He missed a couple of free throws. Sixers had a chance in this one. We're breaking it all down. Sixers now 2-1 in the 3-game season series. One more between these two. That will be played February 11th back here in Philadelphia. And we'll see how that one plays out. When we come back, we'll get to the big takeaway from Xfinity right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Do you really want Tyrese Maxey trying to defend some of the better front court players in the association? No, not really. That's not his strong suit. As talented as he is, you don't want him playing out of place. So it's not worth the risk, time, or the money for the professional basketball team. You need to keep your stars focused on what they do best, and the same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear them down overall. You want them to keep your impact players fresh. And that's where Togo comes in, an integrated part of your team, taking the work off your starters' plates so they can focus on what really moves the business forward. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and U.S.-based processes engineers who act as if they are your point guard overall. At Togo, turning your playbook into performance. You call the plays, we execute your way, and we advise along the journey. Visit harnesstogo.com. That's harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. We are officially into the new year, and it's time to make your homes work smarter, not harder. With a TrueMark Financial Home Equity line of credit, you can tap into your home's equity to handle renovations, upgrades, or whatever is next on your list. A TrueMark Financial HELOC Select gives you the flexibility to borrow when you need it on your timeline. You start with a revolving line of credit, use only what you need, and when you are ready, you can lock in all or part of your balance at a fixed rate for predictable payments. You only pay interest on what you use, and as you pay it back, that credit becomes available again, no reapplying, no extra steps. Learn more about TrueMark Financial's home equity line of credit at TrueMark.com or stop by one of their 24 branches located to get started. That's locations, everybody. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender, NMLS 404938. Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, Roy, Bree, Devon, all of you in the chat. And real quick, let me address something in the chat before we get to the big takeaway, because we're always fair on this show. I'm not a cheerleader. That's not my job. My job is to talk about the Sixers and the game that I just saw. I don't know what y'all were watching, but I saw a fourth quarter implosion like I've seen all season that helped them lose this basketball game. So directly to Philly Love -Q4K. Where are the other guys? Because as you say, Devon and this dude are way too happy that the Knicks won. Sickening. I'm not necessarily happy that the Sixers lost this game or the Knicks won. I'm analyzing the game as I saw it. You can disagree with it, and I'm cool with that. That's what the great part about sports are. Sure. We can disagree on stuff. I'm not happy that the Sixers lost. I'm not upset that the Sixers lost. That's not my job. That's your job as a fan to do that. I've been in this business for 17 plus years. Well, actually 18 plus years now, where I've been able to do this because I'm fair and I critique it the way that I see it. We can disagree, we can agree. And then Nona, you know I love you and we debate on stuff all the time. You know me better than that guy, I think. So I don't understand why the I know right came into it when he called out those guys, both of us. So that's where I am. That's where I sit. And I'm happy to sit here and go through the back and forth and the discussion of it all. But I'm going to sit here and talk about how they stunk in the third quarter and only scored 13 points. Now, the other part of that, which you missed in the main thing. Bree, can you put up the main thing one more time? Because in the main thing, if you look at the back end of the main thing but they match up well with the Knicks. Did you not hear that? Philly, Love, did you miss that part? I think you did, because that's where we said that we were going to talk about both sides of things. The loss stunk because of how they performed and shot 20% in the third quarter. They were fantastic in the fourth to bring them back into the game, right? But they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, to be down in that spot. Credit for fighting back as they always do in the fourth quarter. The best, one of the top 5 fourth quarter teams in the NBA. If they were better in the third quarter, they wouldn't have to be that good in the fourth. They lost because of that. Not happy, not mad, happy to be here to talk about it and critique it with all of you. Bree, let's get to the Xfinity main thing here on this night, presented by Xfinity. And with it, let's talk about something good, Philly Love. The big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Bree, the player of the game, Joel Embiid. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic.
38, 11. We can get into like our guy Vinny and some of the others that talk about, you mentioned it, the game slowing down a little bit, the possessions where it maybe got away, especially with how things played there on that part of the run that the Knicks were having. Too much was funneling into Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. Also, others weren't really
stepping up
looking
and
to,
kind of
exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, Joel was really, really good. Again, for a second consecutive game, he had another double-double where the third quarter, not great. First quarter, second quarter, tremendous, where the first half he finishes with 28 on 10 for 12 shooting. Yeah. Tremendous work from Joel Embiid. But let's talk about the good, and then we'll get into how he went. It wasn't a great third quarter for anybody on that team, especially Joel Embiid, who was 0 for 3.
Yeah, no, like I was scrolling, the timeline during the game, and I saw a lot of people say, Joel looks spry. Well, you said Joel looks spry.
He did look spry,
Joel
man.
Bouncy, like he had energy. Like this is some of the best Joel Embiid that we've seen, in quite some time. Again, like he was very active attacking the basket. Like this is good Joel Embiid. We talked about him before, in pregame, 27, 8, and 4 during the month of January. He carried that over into tonight's game. Looked really good. Four straight games with 30 points, 30 plus points now. 14 straight games with 20 plus points. Again, I hate to get so excited about Joel Embiid because I'm always waiting for that other shoe to fall with Joel, just with injuries and things like that. But he looked really good, and he looked really good, I'll say, on both ends of the floor tonight.
Yeah, he really did, man. And the fact that as we've talked about this so much here with this basketball team, the main thing being that they match up really well with New York. Again, when you get in a 7-game series, Jalen Brunson is going to score his. Tyrese Maxey is probably going to score his too, to kind of offset what he does.
Yeah, do their thing.
Where's the matchup now? It automatically goes to Towns and Embiid.
Right.
Towns is going to have some good games in his 7-game series. But since Embiid has played in those two, he has really got one or two, if not both of those bigs, in some trouble.
Yep.
Mitchell Robinson stayed out of trouble. He got some silly fouls again where we were looking at each other like, he got him again. He got him again. But Mitchell Robinson stayed composed enough to remain in the game after Towns went out. But that's the point. Towns gets into his foul trouble, and Embiid is cooking him. Takes him off the floor. Makes him irrelevant in this basketball game.
Yep.
And if he continues to play like this, the way that we have talked about this with him, then, this is where we're looking at him saying, all right, he might really be back with how he's playing this game right now with this team.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're not going to have third quarters like you had tonight, right? Like, you're going to have games where Embiid's going to get Towns into foul trouble, and then Towns will go out, and then Robinson will come in, and Embiid will work, Mitchell Robinson and get him into foul trouble. Like, you're not going to have games where it happened, where things like that, what happened tonight is going to happen again. So again, I think you should feel optimistic, going forward, because again, you're going to have games where Joel Embiid is going to have, whether it's Robinson or Towns, I think he's going to have he's the better player. He's going to have the better of that center matchup in these games against the Knicks going forward. So I think you should feel good, again, given the fact that we've seen Joel Embiid do this now 2 times against the Knicks.
No, it's good. And it's not just the Knicks, because when we talk about the triple-double that he just had and helping them win in overtime in that game, the fact that we discussed in the pregame that he's averaging 28 points in the month, and he's now 8 boards, and he gets another double-double here and another double-digit rebounding night, that he only finished with 4 through the first 2 quarters.
Right.
Then he ends up with double digits at the end. That's what you want to see. Plus, one more time, as the game finishes out, he plays tonight. Joel does 36 minutes and 24 seconds. So he does it again, plays some big minutes, does not get in foul trouble. He only had 2 personal fouls. You would like to see, we'll get to the third quarter here in a second, but he's out there and he's available. And even after the little knee scare where he's grabbing at it, he looked iffy at that point, but he came back there and finished the game.
So speaking of Joel Embiid again, we talked earlier about the offense kind of getting a little stagnant. When a lot of again Embiid. I don't say Embiid hero ball, but it's like Embiid, you kind of get us out of this funk kind of thing. What is the solution for that kind of thing? Because again, the Sixers kind of get caught up in that kind of stuff where people just kind of stand around and look and like let Maxey and Embiid do their 2-man game or just do whatever. Do the Sixers need to kind of just be more creative on offense in quarters, third quarters, fourth quarters when that happens? Because it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. And look, we're now game number, how many games are we in now, Bree? 44?
44.
40, all right, well,
44.
44 games, and this is now a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's not just, all right, it happened a couple of times in the first few games, all that. No, it's a thing now. And I still don't know the answer, though.
Right.
I mean, you can't tell me
guys on the court. Like, you have other guys you can run the offense through for 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah, you can't tell me that it's just a Nick Nurse thing. It's a team thing of protecting the basketball, being more diligent with the things that you're doing, making sure that you tighten up on some of these things that can get you in trouble, and not having these really bad third quarters where you have to turn it up the way that you do in the fourth. So it's still very, very frustrating. I wish we had an answer now, 44 games in. The answer is just simply that this is who they are. And I hope they can clean it up, because if they do clean it up, it gives them a really good chance as we talk about them in the mix in the Eastern Conference.
That's fair. I think that's a fair answer. It's the only answer that we have at this point. How optimistic can we be as Sixers fans, to that this is the Joel Embiid that we're going to get for the rest of the season? Like are you? Because again, I'm going to be Mr. Pessimistic when it comes to Joel Embiid, because again, I've had Lucy pull the football from me as Charlie Brown 17 times over my life. Yeah. As a fan, like, how optimistic are you that this is the Joel Embiid we can expect to see, for the next 3 or 4 months, or 5 months, I guess?
Since he's given us this showing over these, and we laid out every month, October and November, he played 5 games in the first month. Next month he played about 7, and then he picked it up in December and now in January, where he's not missing time. They have a back-to-back starting next week, which is Charlotte and Milwaukee. And the Milwaukee game just got that more interesting with Giannis's injury, and he's going to be out, which they played them already, and they beat the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis. Charlotte's going to be tough, so it's not going to be easy back-to-back, both winnable games. So he plays 3 next week, and he keeps playing like this, and then we go into the month of February, which is right around the corner, and close out the rest of the month on a really good run. Then I already feel like I'm believing.
You believe? Okay, all right.
We say it. Is he back? That kind of side eye. Is he back? But maybe. I think I already say yes, he's back.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I've seen this more consistently than I saw that earlier part of Embiid when he's averaging 17 points and only playing, this amount of games and averaging 4 or 5 rebounds.
That's fair.
38, 11, and 5, 13 and 21. He had a triple-double on Thursday in their win in overtime. I'd say this is more of the sample size of what's believable for me. But if he closes out the rest of the way for this month,
the month of January,
and I'll just say before the All-Star break.
Okay.
If he finishes off before the All-Star break, and he's playing like this, he doesn't have to give me 30 every night, but he has to just give me a good game.
25 and 8, good game, good defense or whatever like that.
I'm already believing, and if he does this the rest of the way where they have, let me see, they have 4 next week, and then they go on that 5-game trip, and that's 6. So they have 10 more games before the All-Star break. If he does this through the next 10 games, I am in full belief that Joel Embiid that we are witnessing right now is in fact back, because I've seen enough of the 28 and 8 or 28 and 10, and he keeps putting up these kind of numbers, very efficient, attempting to defend the basket much, much better.
Right.
And he's getting dunked on. That's okay. That's what happens when you are a shot blocker and a rim protector. You protect the rim. Somebody's going to get you sometimes. Right. And he's not the defender that he used to be. So with all of that, I just simply look at it and very plainly say that this is the Joel Embiid I expect the rest of the way offensively. I hope the defense catches up to this, where it's just enough in the playoffs where he's not giving up so many points in the paint. And the backup minutes, we'll get to that as we approach the deadline and figure out what goes on there. But I say this is more, I'm believing more that this is the Joel Embiid you're going to see the rest of the way.
And even if he's not the individual defender that we want, again, like him being out there, again, contributes to that team defense. We talked about him getting better and better every month. The month of January so far, not including tonight, but averaging plus 12, plus minus is average of a plus 12 when he's out on the floor. So again, he might not be the one-on-one defender that you might want him to be as a center, but when he's out there, the team clearly is better defensively. So give Joel Embiid his props for, well, not his props, but he's playing better, more spry, and contributing to that defense. One quick question though about this, since we're talking about this, is Joel Embiid an All-Star?
Go check my video up there right now at PHLY_Sixers in the shorts at YouTube, everybody. Go check out the video to see what I have to say about the All-Star candidacy for Joel Embiid. It's tough.
It is.
Because I think this is game number 25 or 26 for him.
26. Yeah, I think it was, because I thought you were going to ask me earlier. I'm like, I got to do some research on this.
So the All-Star game the announcement is next week.
Next week, correct.
He has today, obviously, big numbers, and he has, I can't say when. I already know when the announcement. I don't know if they made it official or at least for everybody to know. I know when it is.
You know when the votes go in?
No, I know when they announce the reserves.
Yeah, next week.
Do you know?
The first, right?
No.
I thought it was the first.
No.
Uh-oh. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, okay.
So the announcements come next week. And the first is on a Sunday. It's not the first.
Okay.
So with that, I don't want to say how many games, but that being said, he doesn't have a lot of games left.
Well, it's announced on the first. I don't know when it's finalized, but 6 o'clock on the first is when they announce the reserves. Now, Mr. Inside Information knows when the votes go in and are like tabulated and all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So to your point, he probably has 2, maybe 3 more games before those votes go in. That's what you're saying. And that's what we're saying.
So what I was going to say too was they have 10 more games. And they have 3 back-to-backs here before the break. They have 3 back-to-backs before the break. He is not playing in 3 of those games. He has 7 games left.
Correct, before the break.
So if he's playing this way with the final 7 games, he's in. I think I don't mean all-star. I mean in this role, this player, this is who you'll see the rest of the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the 7 games that don't matter for All-Star.
Right.
Yeah, all that. All right.
Okay.
That's the big takeaway. That's the big takeaway. Presented by Xfinity. Make sure you visit Xfinity.com to be squared away as we get ready for this bad weather. And certainly you don't want to be in the midst of any ad reads for Rich, Derek, and Kyle. Make sure you get Xfinity or they'll call you out doing one of their ad reads. All right, when we come back, we'll get to the Ace Hardware temperature check presented by presented by Ace Hardware. And when we come back, we'll do that. We'll check in with Kyle as well, as the Philadelphia 76ers are getting ready to head to Charlotte early because they want to get ahead of the weather and the storm. Sixers lose by 3, close one. They match up well with the Knicks despite this loss. We're talking about it much, much more right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. All right, I was heading into work this morning because we had an early morning meeting, and I said, you know what? I forgot to grab something out of the house. No worries. Right to Wawa I go. It's right near my home, and it's an institution here in Philadelphia. So if you ever want to go from 5 to 11 a.m., you make sure you hit up Wawa for the great offer, the $5 deal where you can get any Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown, all for $5 at Wawa. So for me, I was starving. You know what I needed? I needed my Sizzly, sausage and cheese on a biscuit. Good to go. I'm good there. French vanilla coffee and the hash brown. Now I'm ready to go, sit in this meeting and feel pretty good. I'm ready to discuss some things, all because I was able to go to the great place that is Wawa. Once again, available only in the morning from 5 to 11 a.m. If your morning calls for something sweet, then try the new caramel and chocolate craze flavors as well. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on with your day. Gotta have a Wawa.
Guys, everybody's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You cannot, because they do not tell you. And while they hide what's inside, our friends at Crooked Tea brag about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar, no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time when you're at the store, do me a favor, guys. Flip the can, and if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back, then grab a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and it's fully transparent. You know at Philadelphia, real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea is the only thing better than a strip sack in the Super Bowl. So do me a favor and visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, 112-109, the final. Knicks take a game. It's now a 2-1 series lead for the Sixers. Final game before the All-Star break, February 11th. That's Sixers-Knicks, to see what happens there for any official tiebreaker that could be that will be in play, maybe, down the line for the Philadelphia 76ers and the Knicks. All right, let's head to the arena. Check in on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Make sure you read them at allphly.com for the instant observations. And that is Kyle Neubeck joining us early. Sixers on their way out, Kyle. They got to get to Charlotte. We get an early Kyle here on the postgame show. And man, I'm sorry, you know me well enough. We've known each other for years, and certainly these last 2.5 years working together, where I was stuck on the third quarter, man, of I'm not trying to make it a thing, but they made it a thing by only scoring 13 points. Knicks 30 in that one, and turning the game around right there.
It just drives you crazy because it's been such a persistent theme for this season. And like today, I thought it came down to a couple of very simple things. The offense was so slow and stagnant out of the halftime. Like these guys come out, and Joel had been absolutely cooking New York for most of the first 24 minutes. And early, it was a little bit of like, okay, get Joel the ball a few times, and then we'll all stand around while he's great and wins us the game. And when that didn't happen, it didn't feel like they were urgent enough about getting into their sets. Now, Nick Nurse did talk about New York played more physical, got into them a little bit more in the second half. And so you give them a little bit of credit for how it unfolded. Frankly, and I know this is red meat for Knicks fans, given the discourse this year, I think anytime Karl Anthony Towns was out of the game was probably good for the Knicks. So his foul trouble that he was dealing with was ended up backfiring on the Sixers in a weird way. But the other big thing, and I know you guys have probably hammered it throughout the show, the offensive rebounding just absolutely killed them. And you know that that's a problem playing the Knicks. Having Josh Hart available this time, which he's been, I believe he was out for at least the last matchup, if not the last two, if I remember correctly. So that played a big role. But, when guys like Landry Shamet are getting offensive rebounds and recycling the ball, that's a total team-wide failure at that point. And I think it's all interconnected. When you aren't scoring and they're getting into early offense, they're getting the matchups they want, they're stretching you out, you're going to have guys scattered all over the floor. It's harder to rebound. It's harder to prevent those second chance opportunities. So I thought one thing fed another. And then when they score, they're able to bunker down and play half-court defense. And when it's Mitch Robb and OG and McHale and Josh Hart, and you don't have the two halves of the Brunson Cat 1-5 out there, that also makes them a much tougher defensive team. So a lot of different things all interconnected in that third quarter.
And to your point, man, I mean, it was 26-4 second chance points in favor of New York because of that number that you just laid out. It's going to be tough to win. Look, you give them credit, as we always do in the fourth quarter, one of the best teams in the league in that final frame because they fight back the way that they do. But a 26-4 disadvantage because of those offensive rebounds, it's going to put you in a big hole.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse talked about it a little bit after the game, and his point was, we've had these games, right, where the other team gets a lot of offensive rebounds, but in many cases, they're at least able to do the same thing on the other end, where they can either equal or get close to that number on the offensive glass. And so, like, yeah, you don't want to give them up on your own end, but you're at least taking the fight to the other team on the other end. And they just were not successful at doing that today. It's a lot of one and dones, a lot of turnovers in the early portion of the third quarter where the game got away from them. So I think this is one that, in spite of the officiating shenanigans at the end of the game that a lot of people will probably key in on, it really was lost in the third quarter. Because I think other than that stretch, this was a pretty well played game by them. Yeah. Like, they fought in the fourth quarter and they were the better team in the first half.
Yeah, 26-4, like we talked about, second chance points, 53-38 discrepancy rebounds, 19 offensive rebounds for the Knicks. That all being said, no Andre Drummond today, no Andre Drummond last game. Mm-hmm. Any reason behind him not being able to get some minutes tonight?
Well, we did ask Nurse if he considered putting Andre out there, and he flat out said no. So it was not in the cards for whatever reason. I think, Roy, the big thing is that Nurse has been trying to give Adem a runway here to win this job outright if he can do it. I think it's a guy the organization is invested in. This is not me. Don't aggregate this. I'm going to be Brian Windhorst right now. But I do think if you read between the lines a little bit, they are probably preparing for a reality where they move Drummond at the deadline. Like, he is a guy on a slightly elevated contract. And so if they're going to make a move, he's someone that is likely to be involved. And so if you know that, if you're at least somewhat soft planning for that, that suggests to me that in the weeks leading into the deadline, you got to see if Adem can hold up. And whether that means you don't trade Andre or you look to maybe add a different veteran big at the deadline for a little cheaper, I'm not sure. But maybe that's a little bit of it. But Nick didn't even think about it today, which I was surprised to hear him say, given how that game played out.
So with that, talking about the backup bigs, let's talk about the man there in the middle that continues just this fantastic play. Had the 28 in the first half, finished with 38. And as you pointed out, the things did slow down there in the third quarter. But Kyle, again, another double-double for him, a 30-point double-double, and the way that he has played. And after the little scare with the knee, finished the game off with 35-plus minutes there tonight. What did you see from the big fella in this particular performance?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a much better first half, but I think the stuff that they did down the stretch where I'm sure you guys noticed when Nick tried to sub Justin Edwards in to intentionally foul Mitchell Robinson, and they ended up playing small ball. I thought Joel did a really good job of leveraging that to their advantage, where he got OG down to right around 8 feet out, 6 feet out, drew the double, and then he's firing it out to the perimeter. They generate open threes. They got good offense out of that. So I thought there was some very good crunch time execution from him, in addition to ran the floor hard enough to get an offensive rebound and a putback at one point late in that game, which I think what we're seeing these last few games especially is that the conditioning is better. He just looks like he's in more of the dominant Joel Embiid mode that we came to expect over the years that I think, frankly, a lot of us didn't think would be able to come back at this point. And I think I'm just so encouraged by the general mobility, fluidity, physicality that he's showing right now. So, yeah, he was not as good in the second half, had some misfires on passes, turnovers, and whatnot. I think overall you have to be super happy with where he's at.
Yep.
And now it's just like, how far does the ecosystem shift? Because we talked a lot about, hey, Joel's got to fit into what these guys are doing. And that made sense in a world where you're getting maybe like 70%, 80% Joel. But if you're getting a guy who can score 28 points and a half and do it where he's, 10 to 12 from the field,
Yes.
6 to 7 from the free throw line, and is just flat out dominant, there is no fitting into the system for that type of player. That guy is the system. And so maybe we end up with a little bit of friction there. But I think given that he's still not playing back-to-backs and there are a lot of other opportunities for Maxey, VJ, and everybody else to thrive, I think you'll still see a balance of it all.
One guy that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet tonight, Kelly Oubre. Another pretty decent game, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Is this the starting lineup? Has he kind of solidified himself as that fifth member of that starting lineup?
I think so, Roy. And I think that's probably their best 5 when push comes to shove. It is also a group that, if you just look at how the playoffs tend to go, that's the type of lineup you end up playing, where everybody on the floor is a guy you would put the ball in their hands and try to attack. Oubre, just a more reliable offensive threat than Dom Barlow is. Barlow might be a better rebounder, and he gives you an advantage in some of the bigger wing type matchups potentially. But I think Kelly just has a certain energy, if you want to say like dog mentality, whatever. He just has something to him and his personality that I think this group needs. Like, I think you can feel him come in a game, make a play, and it just energizes not just the team, but the whole fan base and the crowd and all that. And so I think he's been very good these last few games. When we talked to Nick before the game, talked a lot about Kelly Oubre and what he was seeing with the lineup. And I know that he said the other night that Oubre joining the starting lineup was a merit-based decision. It was not a matchup thing. And so I think this is as simple as he thinks Kelly is playing at a level that he deserves to start. And if he keeps playing like he did tonight, I just tend to think that'll hold up over the long term.
All right, we heard it in the pregame, Kyle, from your video, but just since you're here, could you take us into a little bit more of the early departure for the Sixers, anticipating the storm and beating the weather to Charlotte?
Yeah, so I think in a normal circumstance, they probably would have flown out tomorrow, and maybe they even get a practice in tomorrow where it's a 3 p.m. game, so you still get rest in tonight. You come back in, have a film day, have a practice session, and then fly out mid-afternoon. They saw the forecast and are like, we're getting out of here on Saturday night. A lot of them showed up in sweatsuits to the game accordingly because they're going to head right to the airport. So they will be bunkered down in Charlotte tomorrow, or tonight and then tomorrow, hopefully. I guess we'll have to see what happens with regards to the weather there and how that might impact people going to the game and whatnot there. But they're staying very close to the arena down there as well. So Nick Nurse joked before the game, as I know you guys saw, be heading over with our winter coats and practicing or getting a shoot around in as long as we're able to. So they, like everybody else, being impacted by snowpocalypse.
Kyle, it also impacts because it's a back-to-back. They have to get out of there to get back here, where we're obviously expecting what we're expecting and to see all the news about the airports. And yes, they fly differently than everybody else, but they still have to get out of there and off the ground. So that's also another storyline to it. 8 o'clock start on that Tuesday, but we'll see how it all plays out, man. And yeah. So you too, you get out of there. We got a early afternoon game. It's not 12 o'clock, 12:30 for you and Derek to get out of the arena. You get out of there, get safe, so we can be bunkered in, as you said, snowpocalypse here in Philadelphia.
Boys, I try to get on as quickly as possible so everyone can get home. You put your comfy clothes on, get whatever snacks and drinks you're hoarding for these next few days, and settle in, because I think we'll be stuck for a little bit.
That's it. All right, man, be safe. We'll talk to you on Monday for pregame. We hope we have a game, and we'll talk to you for that pregame, 6:30 right here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show. Thanks, man. Be safe.
Thanks, Kyle.
See you, fellas.
See ya. Kyle Neubeck on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. We're going to take our final break. We come back, get to your super chats and the Ace Hardware temperature check. Well, It's cold outside, so there's your temperature check here for the area. But we'll get to the basketball temp check when we get back. Final segment, PHLY Sixers postgame show. Everybody, let me tell you about a local business that's been helping Philly homeowners and businesses stay pest-free. Evans Pest Control. Love telling you about them. Why? Because this isn't some giant national chain. They're a family-owned, community-focused pest control company right here in the Philly area, and they've been earning the trust of your neighborhoods for years. My neighborhood, your neighborhood, all of our neighborhoods. Listen, pests don't knock at the door and say, "Can I come in?" They're unwanted guests, and you want them out. And if you have people in your life, sometimes they drop little crumbs here and there. They don't pick up after themselves. Maybe leave this one on the nightstand. Yes, you know what will happen? The pests will show up. You don't want that. So if you see signs of pests or you just want to prevent them before they start, reach out to Evans Pest Control. Visit evanspestmgmt.com to schedule your free consultation. That's Evans Pest Control at evanspestmgmt.com.
Guys, I am 35 years old, and it hit me like a brick wall. Same workouts, same diet, but it felt like I was moving through mud. Nobody tells you about this stuff. One day you're crushing it, and the next day you're wondering why everything is twice as hard. Because here's the thing. Most men, they start losing their testosterone at 30 years old and then lose it 1% every year after that. So I'm keeping it simple and doing something natural that supports my body where it needs it. That's why I'm taking Mars Men. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. More consistent, natural energy. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina, and has a 90-day money-back guarantee. For a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, Roy, Devon, Bree, Kyle at the arena along with Derek. They're getting out of there. The Sixers are getting out of there so they can head to Charlotte. By the way, our player of the game, Joel Embiid, this is when we were like, yeah, he's really back.
He might be back.
He might be back.
He might be back.
He had the big first quarter, 15 points, 18 total in the first half. Then Quentin Grimes just dropped this one off, and he's, look out.
Throw it down, big man.
Look out.
The hammer.
Oh, Joel. I haven't seen him move like that, man. He was spry. He was ready. He was ready for this one.
Didn't know he had it in him.
He knows he's always looking to cook Karl Anthony Towns. Mm-hmm. And then all the stuff with Mitchell Robinson from that playoff series 2 playoffs ago. Is the rivalry back?
I think it's back.
It's back.
I think it's back.
I'm a guy anyway that those never go anywhere because of the geographic part of it.
True.
The divisions.
Familiarity.
Yeah, the divisions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Up and down series, all that stuff, yes, but come on. It's a rivalry.
It's back,
It's still a rivalry. It's really a rivalry. All right, let's get to the Ace Hardware temperature check presented by Ace Hardware Home Services. Make sure you visit Ace Hardware. Let me slow down so I can say it.
Got so geeked up about the Sixers.
Trying to get all this stuff in here before we get out of here, everybody. AceHardwareHomeservices.com to get started on your next project. All right, this is where we wanted to go with the cooling off. The Knicks bench, 29-12 in favor of the Sixers bench. Wasn't even a matchup.
Not good.
Wasn't a matchup. Kyle mentioned Landry Shamet. We pointed out Landry Shamet coming off the bench, 12 points. He had that one offensive rebound, 4 boards in total, though. Knocked down 3 threes, the big one, which we felt like really closed the game out, even though it was extended.
Right.
We didn't really get to the officials, but the bench, you needed it to be better tonight to help overcome some of the other things there.
This is the second straight game, right? Because again, you go back to that Rockets game, like that bench didn't play well in that game. I mean, obviously, kind of forget some of that, because how well Kelly Oubre played and like that. But to be fair, this bench scoring wise has been decent this year. I think they're like 7th or 8th in the NBA in terms of points per game and things like that. But did not play well tonight. Did not play well against in that Houston game. Probably need to make a move or two before the trade deadline if you want to make some moves in the playoffs.
So can you say something about that, though?
Sure.
Like, what would you be looking for?
That.
Do you have any? Do you have a player's?
I don't have a player
type. No, type. Do you want a wing? Do you want to back up big? If Drummond's on the move, do you trust Bona? You
No.
figure the two guys are going to be converted to their standard contracts, Barlow and Walker. So
Right.
what do you want?
Ideally, I'd like a consistent big who I can count on to grab 6 or 7 rebounds a game. And ideally, I like a knockdown shooter. If you can give me just a knockdown shooter, again, doesn't have to be a world beater, but somebody, give me an open shot, a Landry Shamet type. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Give me a Landry Shamet type of guy, and give me a guy who I can plug in there, at the one of the bigs, 4 or 5 spot, and give me 6 or 7 rebounds a game. I'm fine with that.
All right. The bench cooled off tonight. Needs to be better.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's better against Charlotte on Monday, Milwaukee on Tuesday. That's the Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Super chat time, everybody. We got a ton of them. And let's start off with our friend B. McCoy. What up, Nard? Teams would rather Embiid go off instead of Maxey. We are only up 4 points at the half because... yeah, well, no defense, can't rebound, pointless. What do you think? I disagree.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that. Yeah, no, it's no.
Because it's not necessarily that you're giving up. They played defensively. They played Maxey well.
Yeah.
They played Maxey well, as they should have. They played him well. So as a result, they were able to, put that length in front of him, switch. So it's Mikal, it's OG, Anunoby.
Right.
Deuces, he's same body type and all, but he gets through those screens and all. And Josh Hart, same thing. So they played him well. He played really well in those first 2 wins. Tonight, not so much. I don't know that they'll prefer to pick. I disagree. I don't think that they prefer, because if they're both all going off, then you're in trouble.
Right.
And then you're in trouble. And in the second game, they both went off and they lost that basketball game. So we'll see, though. We'll see in game number 4 on February 11th, Bernard, see how it plays out. And maybe we'll also see in the postseason in a 7-game series. Thanks, Nard. Appreciate it. Mark Jackson. What up, Mark? Refs, they came from Timu. PG, early foul trouble. Don't have any rhythm when you get in foul trouble. The Knicks are garbage. We have them 19 extra possessions, and we only lost by 3. We pointed out, you get those extra possessions, and you put yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I hate ripping on the refs, and the refs did have a bad.
Speak to them, because their last few minutes were really bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm still upset about the end of the Houston game. So again, I'm still not over that. Last couple of games.
That's true.
Yeah, like last I don't even know, it was like 42 seconds of the Knights game. Like took like 20 minutes. Not the greatest showing at a rest. But that being said, we always talk about it. Devon talks about it, all the time while we're watching games. If you make your free throws, if you take care of the stuff, the easy stuff,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about the refs at the end of the game, because again, like, you've already handled your business. It shouldn't be up to the refs at the end of the game to decide whether or not you win or lose.
Yep. All right. Appreciate that one. Mark also says, I don't want Embiid to be an all-star. We need him to utilize that break to rest up and be ready for a deep playoff run. I do want him to rest. You know who I also want to see resting a little bit?
Tyrese Maxey.
Absolutely. It's like an 11-day break, so he should be fine.
Yeah. Fine.
I don't know yet. I'd imagine he's going to be asked to be in the 3-point shooting contest, 3-point challenge. Accept it.
Sure.
Do it. That's not really taxing, all that. You do that. I don't know how much he's going to play, because they have 2 USA teams and all of the structure of all that.
Right.
But he needs rest. So after the weekend, go away.
Just go away.
Go away. Don't go in the gym. When you come back for practice, that's when you'll be fine.
Just 3-point, no skills. No skills is too much.
Nah, no skills, man. Just go ahead, rest up, man. And,
got you.
Yeah, because he's tired.
You see, that kid's. I know he's young. Again, like you look at him. I wish I was that age. I wish I had that kind of energy.
Yeah.
That being said, like, that man's playing 40 minutes a night. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. Appreciate that one. Appreciate both of those, Mark. Let's see what we have here next. We got Davon says, Maxey disappointed me. He had a lot of quit in him today.
Quit? Oof.
I don't think he quit, Davon. I think he was just tired.
He's tired. Just like, again, like you said, like, like Embiid was cooking early. When the guy's cooking, like, you let him cook. Like, that's the thing. If a guy's playing well, I mean, like, you go to him. Like, you see, if Joel Embiid 15 points in the first quarter, all right, well, let's run the offense through Joel until it stops working. It happens all the time. So I don't think it's a quit. I just think it's just, one of those days where Joel was cooking early, and the offense kind of skewed towards him.
All right, let's let everybody know that we are headed to overtime here on this Saturday evening. Thank you on the television side. We appreciate you as always. Head on over to allphly.com to finish off the show. And again, stay safe with this snow apocalypse that's about to hit us on Sunday. I hope they're all saying it's happening. I hope. Not because I want them to lose their job or anything. I just hope they're wrong. All right? For all of our sakes, I hope they're wrong.
I don't know about that one.
But I think they're very right,
They're probably right.
on this one.
They're right.
All right, Davon also says Maxey needs to hold up if Embiid is in fact back. So, yeah, he does.
Sure.
But that's where, again, he needs a little bit of rest. But, man, after the All-Star break there, that March – that schedule was brutal.
But it's been, you and I had talked about this. Like, this schedule in January has been brutal. Like, they play
17
they
games.
play a lot, and they played a lot this month. And Joel's played a lot of these games. Like, again, Tyrese Maxey, we talked about his minutes. Like, these guys need a break. Like, these guys absolutely need a break. So yeah, hopefully they can get some time off in a couple of weeks.
Davon points out that Maxey's finish that he was talking about where he felt like he quit, spent 2 minutes of the last 3 minutes three-point hunting instead of attacking the basket, getting stops. Modern basketball IQ compared to the other eras is so poor. So let's talk about the one that he got off, the shot that he got off that could have tied the game,
Right.
where he rushed it, trying to draw the foul on Landry Shamet to get that one. Had he just let it play out, OG Anunoby was there waiting as the rotation man because he was on Embiid. So that switch was going to happen. He might have been able to get that shot off, might have been able to attack the basket, possibly get an and one, or just simply, he would have had to take the three because it was 5 seconds left.
5 seconds left, yeah.
But I thought it was a bad, to that one, Davon, that was a bad shot.
That was a bad shot.
That was a bad shot. I know you wanted the call. I know we were on the refs for not being great because they weren't in the last 2 minutes.
No.
Can't wait to see that report. Also, Maxey did not need to heave that one the way that he did. He didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he thought that once he got touched, he was going to get the foul call. But again, like that was on the floor. That was a second or two before you even pulled up. Like you're never going to get that call that far after you get the foul call. So that was a poor decision. Like when Maxey got touched and you didn't hear a whistle, at that point he needs to know. It's like, hey, I'm not getting a call. I either need to attack the basket or, like you said, just pull up for the three. I have time for a good shot, so I don't need to rush it. But again, I can't pull up immediately because I'm not going to get 3 shots.
Yeah, that one, he needed to make a better decision there. You just can't. Here's the play. And sure, look, he's coming around that screen. He feels like Landry Shamet is tugging at him.
Right.
And he was. The officials didn't not call it.
Right.
So, yes, you're trying to get that shot off. Play to the whistle.
Play to the whistle.
Play to the whistle. And, yes, I know you're trying to beat and anticipate the whistle to get the 3 shots.
Right.
But just let it happen the way that it's happening because they didn't give you the whistle that you wanted, and as a result, you threw that up. They called nothing. Knicks get the rebound. Game over. Had he kept the ball, maybe that fadeaway going to his right over Anunoby could have fallen. Maybe he could have squared up in general, got the shot off, missed it, but drew the foul on Anunoby, or made it and Anunoby foul, and you probably win the game right there. So bad decision on that final possession for Tyrese Maxey to force that shot up. And also Joel Embiid, also another. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to lead Tyrese Maxey on the bounce pass instead of throwing it over the top, but he just didn't get enough English on it to put him in a position to walk right into catching that win and shoot a 3 on the move to tie the basketball game. Final score 112-109. I want Jay Huff from the Pacers, Daniel says. It's not a bad backup big.
No, he's a nice little active big. Shout out Daniel, fellow Chelsea fan. Hey, yeah, Huff's a nice little player.
Leads the league in blocks.
Did he lead the league in blocks?
Yes.
Goodness gracious. All right, I am out of the realm, out of the loop when it comes to that. But yeah, no, he's a nice active dude. I don't know if he's on the trading, the trade market or not.
So I think they signed him to a 1-year deal. Indiana did. I think they signed him to a 1-year deal.
Can't take much to get him, I would imagine. So yeah, Jay Huff, I'll take him absolutely.
I mean, you got to give me something though. I don't want Andre Drummond. If I'm Indiana, I got Jay Huff.
Yeah, but
and Jay Huff with Tyrese Halliburton next season.
That's fair.
I'm living pretty good.
You're living good. You're living good.
Now, he may not be the starter. They'll go out and get someone else,
Sure.
especially if they keep losing and they're at the bottom. They might draft a big or something or trade that pick for a big in the NBA. I'm not trading Jay Huff, but I like your thinking, Daniel.
That's the type of guy I think you want. I mean, obviously, at least leading blocks, but that's the type of active energy guy that you want on this team.
Yeah. Let me
He leads league in blocks.
Actually, he's now behind Alex Sarr. Sarr's 2.1. Jay Huff is 2.
Yeah, Sarr's having a nice
2.
year.
2.
Okay. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
With Mobley and Holmgren behind him at 2. Jay Huff. Who knew?
Who knew?
Well, we knew when he was killing them with the Grizzlies in that one game. He destroyed the Sixers in that one. Yeah. So there's that one on there. All right, so for this one, as the standings go, Cleveland plays tonight. Orlando hosts Cleveland. That matters for the Sixers in the standings. The Miami Heat also taking on the Utah Jazz tonight later on in Utah. So a little bit of help from them, especially with you look for with the Cleveland and the Orlando matchup, Sixers are half a game up on Orlando right now. Mm-hmm. So basically, Cleveland just beat Orlando so the Sixers stay in the top 6, and you go on from there.
Yeah, I think top 6 at this point. Like I think you have to, anything worse than top 6 is kind of disappointing, right? Like as you see the landscape of the Eastern Conference, this is clearly one of the 6 best teams in the East. Whether they're 3 or 6, they're one of that. If they find themselves in the play-in, something happened because again, like this team is too talented to fall out of the top 6.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that'll do it for us, everybody. First off, everybody be safe.
Be safe, please.
Be careful. Stay warm. Hope everyone got all the grub, the snacks, the drinks that they need as we are going to be stuck in the house for these next couple of days, potentially because of this storm. So everybody be safe, be careful, and just do your thing.
Yeah, again,
enjoy your loved ones.
As today's bell ringer told us, everybody out there bundle up. Freeway was a bell ringer today for the Sixers game, so everybody bundle up because it's going to be cold. It's not going to be over freezing for the next week or so. So just bundle up if you need to go outside.
Absolutely. So do that, everybody, and stay warm because it's about to be nasty. And for all of you who know me well, I think after all these years, I hate the snow. This is why.
The snow is it's beautiful though. It's good to look at.
Yeah, it looks nice.
It looks nice,
but then it debilitates you.
Right? Yeah, you can't do anything.
Can't do anything after that, and then you got to clean up the mess.
Then you got to shovel it. Yeah.
I don't feel like dealing with all that. It's time for the world famous. It's the roll call.
Roll call.
Let's get to the roll call as we shout out Wawa Marvel. Joel Peace. What up, Peace?
What up, Peace?
Yes, what up, Peace? We got my mom's in there. Hey, Mom. Wawa Marvel. Miko effin Suave in the chat. Terry Hayden. What up, Terry? Mr. Al Griffin. What up, Al?
What up?
We also had Vinny. Going on his Embiid thing in there in the chat. What up, Vinny?
What up, Vinny?
Get into arguments there.
Oh,
we had Walt Phillips. What up, Walt? We also saw, I said Terry. Let's get to the ladies because I saw the ladies from Jazz to Val to Jess and Nona. Hey, ladies, stay warm and be safe. And we will, of course, catch up with you on the next show for sure. We got Ivan in the chat. What up, Ivan?
What up, Ivan?
We saw Daniel with the super chat. Davon, Schoolboy Beats with the super chat. Bernard also with the super chat. Thank you. Philly Star, what up? Good to see you in there. We had The Truth checking in. Grimes needs to step up. He did not have a good game. That's why we pointed out the bench.
Had a good run.
No, he has not. And he has a no trade clause, so he's not going anywhere unless he decides that he wants out of here. Who else do we have here, Bree? Phil W. Saw Phil talking about his guy. Another good game from Kelly Oubre. Could have used a little bit more, but it's not his thing. Those two threes that he made the last couple of games did not make him in this one. That's okay. He'll bounce back. Hunger Tooth. Not gonna be hungry during this storm because you got all the food in the house.
Right.
Larry K, the court jester. What up, Larry K and the court jester? James Alexander, good to see you. Noob in the chat as well. He said our bench buns tonight.
Buns.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, they
not
were
good.
buns.
They were the Ace Hardware cooling off tonight as well. And so many people there in the super chat. We want to say thank you. As we sign off here recently, we always tell you, Mark Jackson with the super chat as well. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Be safe. Black Moses is how we sign off on the show as of late. What up, Black Moses? Thank you, X-Man. We saw you too. And all of you, thank you. Be safe. Bree, great job as always.
Thank you, Bree.
Stay warm, Bree. Stay safe. It's cold in here. It is really cold, everybody. It's so cold we can feel it in the studio.
Hit the like button so we can get some heaters in here.
Hit the like button so they can turn up the heat and close the windows, all of that good stuff here in the studio. Hit the like button, like and subscribe. And when you do, the bell icon, hit that. It'll sound like that to let you know and alert you that it is, in fact, showtime. All the snacks, all the cakes, all the cookies and chips and popcorn and pretzels and your soda juice, drinks, water, all of that. Everybody, hot chocolate, tea, coffee. Be safe. We love you. We'll talk to you on Monday for the Sixers Hornets pregame show, 6:30, front end of a back-to-back. Be safe. We'll talk to you on Monday. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.